Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the 8-Bit Adventures Podcast. I am your host, Sean Hayes, here to bring you the latest and greatest gaming news of the past week. We're on episode 340, and we are chock full this week. We got 7 topics, 5 news stories, and 2 reviews. One board game. So we got another board game review and a video game review. And I want to make clear, I don't get these games for free. Not that anyone's brought it up, but just for the audience's benefit. Yeah, I don't go out asking for review copies. Companies don't send me stuff. These are things that I have bought with my own money. So yeah, that's why, reviews maybe we may not have reviews during some weeks is, if I haven't gotten anything new to play. Yeah. So, alternatively, if there are companies out there that want to send me review copies of things, I'm not going to say no. Especially if it's in like the farming genre, RPG genre, or cool board games like Valheim, Mythwind, that kind of stuff. Super down for that. But no, these are all things that I have purchased with my own monies. So just to get that out of the way. Hope everyone's had a great week. But sorry for starting the show a little bit late. I was trying to get the kids to bed. But we've got a lot to ground to cover, so I'm not gonna hold up with our intro any further. So let's get into the news. All right, so our first topic is a doozy. So this is coming to us from Gamesindustry.biz. It's a little bit of a multi-article topic. So first up, Nexon CEO Junghun Lee. I really hope I pronounced that right. If I didn't, folks, please let me know. To please correct me on my pronunciation. And Epic Games CEO Tim Sweeney have like publicly endorsed support for using AI in the content generation processes for game development. Specifically, Lee Lee said that you should assume every game developer is using AI to generate content. And that caused quite a bit of a stir. Meanwhile, while this is happening, Krafton, who has been the subject of several news topics for their handling of Subnautica 2, has launched a voluntary resignation program as it reorganizes as a, quote, AI first company. This is so frustrating to see. And what's notable is, like, we've heard of companies sort of toying with these ideas. But I don't know if in particular this is like a cultural thing, because both Nexon and Krafton are Korean companies. I know Nintendo has kind of come out against generative AI. Obviously Epic Games is American, is a United States company. but I don't know. I mean, Microsoft is all in on using it since they have their own they have their own AI software suites that they're using. I don't know if there are developers specific, like I don't know if Bethesda or I can't remember. I want to say like Blizzard was maybe looking at it for like automation but not generation processes, which gets into like a less about the ethics of is it taking away jobs, but more along the lines of how much resources is it using, because again, I think if these sorts of tools had been rolled out from the get-go as it's designed to make your creative people's lives easier, much like Photoshop was, instead of this is designed to replace your creative departments or allow you to not hire artists, this would have been a different scenario. But unfortunately, we can't go back in time, folks. So, but we also know Square Enix is also fully in on AI, and is also using it to replace QA testers. So yeah, I don't think you should assume that every company is using AI. I think that's a justification for terrible business practices. But then again, I mean, it's Nexon and Krafton, which are not high up on my lists. I've played Nexon games before. And they're not my cup of tea. And Krafton is that whole mismanagement of Subnautica 2 and like ousting the founders is a wild ride. So yeah, just start things off on a real high note with more AI nonsense. And I hate it. I'm gonna editorialize this a little bit. Instead, I try to be a little level-headed when doing the news reporting or news relaying, I should say. But yeah, no, I'm so sick of this. And honestly, I hope that it's another tech bubble that bursts, and that every company that goes in on this gets what is coming to them. So, but really, this is just everybody's just trying to continue to chase investor money because NFTs turned out to be nothing. Like NFTs crashed and failed hard. So now everybody's throwing all their money into AI. And they're basically using it as an excuse to cut jobs. Which is something that we have another news topic to get into that a little bit later. But next up, IGN reports that a series of Monster Hunter Secret Lair drops have been announced by Wizards of the Coast. So this is another partnership with Capcom. I would be excited about this, but I saw IGN has the list of cards. I'm going to do a quick run through of them. And I'm not excited for them. It's really weird decisions, and I don't know if that was like a Magic team decision or if it was a Capcom decision. But for one thing, no equipment cards for Monster Hunter. All right, let that sink in. So there are 4 Secret Lair drops. One is The Hunt, which focuses on non-creature spells themed around the terrifying attacks that monsters across the Monster Hunter franchise can unleash. So there's 5 cards in this one for each color. It includes Blind Obedience, Snap, Village Rites, Mizium Mortars, and Tooth and Nail, which will have monster artwork on them. But, like, why not just do creature cards? Next up is the Hunters, which are, it says they're about the Hunters themselves, not. Each card depicting a different set of armor and weapons and having the human creature subtype. So it's Grand Abolisher wearing Tigrex armor with bone scythes, Archaeomancer wearing Velkana armor with slinger and winged Seraphid greatsword, Grim Haruspex wearing Nargacuga armor with a hidden eye light bowgun, Imperial Recruiter wearing Rathalos armor with red Tigrex claws, Brachydios armor with burning knocker, Gore Magala armor, and Royal Rose. So it's a group shot. And Champion of Lambolt with Astalos armor with a verdant lightning shield. Yeah, this is another head scratcher. Like, very few of them are soldiers, warriors, rangers, scout. You know, there's a sorcerer in there, there's a noble in there, or politician or whatever. And then the final two are Monsters and Monsters 2, which are actually monsters. So this is where, some of these make a lot of sense. So Nezahal Primal Tide is Lagiacrus. I think this is probably the one that fits the closest. Nezahal is one of the dinosaur, like, elder dinosaurs from one of the Ixalan sets. I don't remember which one. But he's like a big plesiosaur. So, like, at least that kind of makes sense. Dracoseth Maw of Flames is Rathalos. Seraph Realm Eater is Zenogre. Vivectus Asmadi the Dire is Nergigante. Zayatora the Incinerator is Fatalis. Razaketh the Foul-Blooded is Gore Magala. Yeah, that's a head scratcher. Amareth the Lustrous is Velkana. Wasatora. Nekarus Queen is Nargacuga. And Kalamax the Stormsire is Brachydios. Yeah. So this is the unusual case of Secret Lairs, where I got excited when they announced what it was, and then I saw the cards, and I was like, well, nope, I guess I'm sitting out. I like Rathalos, most iconic monster, most iconic, dragon-like monster in Monster Hunter. Shivan Dragon is right there. like at least do something classic. Like, if you're gonna do stuff where it's not really playable, do something classic and iconic. All right. So yeah. Let's see. When is this coming out? December. December at some point. Will be available from December 1st to December 22nd while supplies last. Each is priced at $29.99. So if you want all four, it's going to cost you $120. No, thank you. All right, I'm done with this topic. Let's wrap it up. Next up, Gamesindustry.biz reports that the Independent Workers Union of Great Britain has filed legal claims against Rockstar Games for union busting. So we talked about this last week. And I was like, well, we'll see if there's any legal action. 100%. So yeah. Because Yeah, the UK has much stronger worker protections than we do in the United States. So, yeah, when it came out that it was because of the claim was that they were leaking confidential information to non-employees. So this is about like 30 to 40 people that they were leaking confidential information to non-employees in what was revealed to be a union Discord server. Okay, so it was a Discord server for the union, and they were speaking with other members of the union. Okay, so I don't know if they were like union reps or union, not management, but like union leadership, that aren't employees of Rockstar. Okay, and yeah, that is the argument from Rockstar as to why they fired these like 30 to 40 people. So yeah, can't do that. And yeah, the allegation is that like they were discussing not necessarily confidential information, but union information, and Rockstar didn't like that, and therefore is sacked them all. So yeah, you know what? I hope Rockstar gets nailed to the wall. I'm fired up, folks. I'm fired up today. The first three topics are not great news. But yeah, but also like send a message. Send a message that corporations do not get to just trample over unions. Like put some teeth on it. So we'll have to see what comes of that. I'm sure any sort of news will be reported on this because Rockstar is already like kind of under the microscope for GTA 6 and it being delayed until eternity. I mean, I you know, a little over a year from now. So, all right. GameInformer reports that Valve is they're taking another stab at the Steam machine. Although I think it was previously the Steam box. Y'all remember that? So yeah, so they're back. They're coming back with a cube of their own. For a it's going to be called the Steam machine, Steam powered console, that runs Steam OS. But this time they're also going to be doing Steam VR headsets and more Steam controllers. So, looks like they've been trying to work on the form factor for the Steam controller. It will feature 2 touchpads on it. So we'll have to see how this goes. No word on the price for it. But yeah, man. It's like Valve tried it the last time and it failed hard. Cuz I don't know if folks in the audience remember the whole Steam box fiasco. It got super hyped up and then it came out that like it was going to be super expensive because Valve was essentially just selling you like a mini PC that only did Steam. But then also like then they essentially like licensed it out to different manufacturers so that there was like a half a dozen different Steam boxes. So I don't know. It seems like this so far is just like a single manufacturer, so bringing it more in line with stuff. You know, the cube is weird. The cube, it's just a big black cube with like a single LED light in the front, like an LED light bar in the front. I mean, like I loved the GameCube, and I have all sorts of nostalgia for the cube, but like This doesn't have a handle on it. I don't like. It looks like it's got some USB ports in the front, so that's how you can connect your controllers. But it's just weird. So yeah, I think if my worry is that it's going to be like $1,000 to get this, and then no one, like hardcore gamers with disposable income will get it. But like that is paying $1,000 for a Steam machine in 2025 is a bit of a tough pill to swallow, given the state of the economy right now. So that's yeah. Valve doing its thing, I guess. They really want to make Steam machines happen. Okay. Final bit of news. Nintendo and Illumination have put out a trailer for the Super Mario Galaxy movie. Trailer, we still got Tiny Bowser. I love in the trailer, it shows that like despite the fact that Bowser held Luigi prisoner, Luigi's just like so much more friendly with him. Mario's not impressed at all, and the two are still antagonistic toward each other. But we see Bowser Jr. We get Rosalina. We get some Mario Odyssey locations that seemed a bit interesting. So we see, we got Peach. And then not shown in the trailer, but confirmed is Yoshi. And it was done a bit weirdly where Yoshi was like leaked from like Pillsbury for some like licensed product or whatever. But yeah, so this is out now. It looks fun. It sounds like the sound work is on point. My hope is that they will, and I don't know, it's Illumination, and again, Miyamoto's overseeing it. So my hope is, but I'm not holding my breath, that they'll do more of the sort of like video game cover score instead of throwing in popular music. Because I'm still mad about the Donkey Kong. Like when they first get to the Kong Kingdom, that it was supposed to be like a Donkey Kong Country medley that got played, and it sounds so good. And like I like Take on Me, but like the Donkey Kong medley was so good, and it was so much better. It was an absolute crime that we didn't get it. So that's my only hope, is that they just let, especially since Galaxy has really good music, like let it breathe. Let that music through. So yeah, go check it out. I think there's like two versions of the trailer where they showed one, but then I saw another one where Rosalina is like just doing the bedtime story thing. So yeah. And that comes out April 2025, I believe. No specific date yet. But so that is going to wrap up our news segments. So now let's talk about some games and my thoughts about them. All right, so we talked about it last week in the news segment. I did, in fact, get Skigill. So this is a excuse me, delightful little indie game. Still in early access. But it's like, $3. So following the Vampire Survivors mantra of decent gameplay for a cheap price. So monochromatic color scheme, It does throw color splashes in there for like icons and some enemy outlines and things like that. Vampire Survivors gameplay. So it is a survivors like game. On top of what I can only describe as a Path of Exile tree skill forest. Your character selection determines where you appear, where your starting node is in the forest. You get a free starting weapon. And unlike in Path of Exile, you're not starting on like a character node. You are starting on an actual ability node. So it also gives you an ability to start with. There are 3 characters at the moment. These are the Sorcerer, the Strongman, and the Fox. Looks like there may be more characters planned in the future. But those are the 3 that we got for now. I will say I like how the Sorcerer plays. I definitely love how the Fox plays. Strongman, I don't like him. I think his hitbox might be too big, and his weapon is his starting weapon is too unwieldy. Other thing to note, there's no instructions for the game. So you kind of have to be familiar with Vampire Survivors already and kind of like a skill tree system already. And be able to figure out what the icons mean in the skill nodes, because there are no tooltips, there are no instructions. You got to figure it out all on your own. And unfortunately, there are some nodes that can brick your run if you pick them or even accidentally. I think it did. There was a bit of a curve for me. I did have a frustrating hour of, thought it was really novel first picking it up, then started to get into it and really wanted to progress. Couldn't progress and started to get frustrated with it and just the lack of information. Then started to figure some stuff out and just unlock more passive nodes. Unlock more passive abilities. And through the achievements, which do you can kind of cheat a little bit and figure out what some nodes are based on achievement names and the conditions to meet them. So figuring that out, then was able to start piecing together strategies. And then it clicked for me. I do think Sorcerer kind of requires a specific play style. Fox, definitely there is a preferred path that I like, that unfortunately means that it's every run is basically oh, what weapons do I get, because I'm gonna pick the same 4 starting nodes during every run. And then Strongman is I haven't gotten him to work. So I'm very curious to see what other characters we get. I've kind of bounced off of it for now because I've gotten almost all of the achievements that are available right now. And the ones that I haven't gotten, I'm not interested in getting. It's do a run where you don't get hit. It's that's not happening. That's just not happening. So I'm not going to bother. And there's it's called Victory Lap. And the only text is Lawnmower Simulator. I don't know what that means. So again, I'm not going to rack my brain trying to figure it out. I haven't gotten all of the, all of the passive, progression nodes. But I put I don't know, 15 hours into it maybe. Or maybe, it was somewhere. I can't remember if it was 5 or 15, somewhere in between there. So not a lot of time, but a fair amount considering, runs are like 50, if you do the full one, it's like 15 minutes. There is an endless mode that you can unlock, which basically turns into just grabbing all of the nodes, except for like the last 3, because those are ones that, again, brick your run. So it basically becomes like when you decide to finish it, you just pick those nodes and then you can't do anything. So I hope they fix that interaction. But yeah, I'm excited to see what comes of this. And my hope is that they do the Ponkle thing of like, if they put out future updates, that they're either very affordable or just straight up free. So, so yeah, it's a fun time. I think I saw Ars Technica, I think, gave it a 7 out of 10. I think that's an apt, I think that's an appropriate score. Like, it's fun, it's addictive, definitely has a learning curve, and there are tweaks that could certainly be made with sort of the graphic design and the like some options for how like characters appear on the screen and stuff, like little fiddly things. I also think you could put like text in the menus so that you didn't have to rely on people figuring out the menus. Like the options menu has no text. So just to make folks aware. So yeah, it's available in early access now on Steam. And it's, I don't know, it's like $3, somewhere between $3 and $5. And now for our final topic and our second review of the night, Storyfold Wildwoods. Now this is titled by Open Owl Studios, who also made Mythwind. Now, I love Mythwind. I've played Mythwind so many times. I try and have it be a regular game that we do with my D&D group. But unfortunately, it ends up being the case of like, whenever we start playing Mythwind, we'll like do a session, and then we actually start having like regular like D&D sessions. So then like we don't play Mythwind for like months, and then we try and go back to it, and nobody remembers how to play, except for me. That said. So I love Mythwind. This is the same studio. I believe it's a different lead developer or lead designer. So this is a solo board game, and it's sort of like Mythwind. It's for experiencing a story. The illustrations are gorgeous. Graphic design's great. The design of the actual, like the board and the box and everything is top notch. So the way it works is you have like you've got a like ring bound book, or it's a spiral bound book, and so you're like flipping up pages, and the board itself flips out on the sides. And to save your progress is you pick wherever you are, and then you flip the sides back in so that they act as bookmarks. Very clever. I really love that. And the story is of a girl named Luma and her bear friend Brahm. And they are trying to save the forest from shadow. And you do that by lighting up the way and healing creatures. So I like the fact that it has conflict and drama, but without, like, you are not being aggressive, if that makes sense. Like you can use light to like stun creatures or to repel shadow. But how you like remove creatures from the board, which if there's creatures on your board, it causes all sorts of problems and it messes up with your action economy. You heal them. So like you heal them, you purge them of shadow by healing them with like positive emotions. And that removes them from the board. That's a nice touch, I think. And I think it's a different take on dealing with threats, right? So I have yet to finish it. Most of what I play, so I played the prologue previously, which is sort of a teaches you how to play, and then I did chapters 1 through most of the way through chapter 4, which seems like it's the final chapter. Like this afternoon. So, gameplay wise, I think this game's hard. I am willing to admit there were a couple times when I may have fudged some of the die rolls. Because the way the gameplay works is you have action cards that go below your board, and there's like a track, which is called the river. And the river has 7 spots. The first 4 spots in the river have numbers on them, including 3, 4, 5, and 6 plus. Okay, so 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus. If you have an action card in one of those slots, and you try and do that action, you roll any number of dice from your dice pool, which start out as D8s, but there's an optional D10 and D12 that you can get. So you roll any number of dice, and that's like your target number to hit. Now I mentioned, so creatures can also get thrown in the river, and depending on where they go in, they might displace your action cards so that they become unavailable. So you have to take care of those creatures to then be able to use those actions. And you kind of need all of the actions in order to progress through the story. I do like that there are progression options if you fail, because you generally only have about anywhere from 4 to 6 rounds to complete a scene and progress to the next scene. And so if you don't complete it within those 6 rounds, generally you get like a bad outcome. Which I think on a future playthrough I might try and just like not care as much about trying to get like a good outcome, just to, I feel like it makes it easier, because you're able to like you could just get like beneficial cards that you can then just bank to use later. So I wonder if like just ditching the first like chapter and then actually going through, because it was the start of chapter 3 absolutely demolished me, and it was just bad. But I gotta check the rules, because in order to progress, so you have like your 4 basic actions are light, help, explore, and heal. And generally, you will need to help or explore to progress through areas within a scene. Heal will take care of creatures that are in the river. Light has 2 uses. One is to like stun creatures that are in the river so that they don't attack you. But alternatively, you also need it to light up a track, so that you can finish the scene. And it's one of those where each of your actions has like a top ability where you have to get a certain number of successes to complete whatever task you're doing. If you get any successes but not enough successes, you can instead do the bottom ability, And the bottom ability for the light card seems to be the only way that you can move stuff along the track out without using like other cards. And that seems weird because it's a required mechanic to like finish the level. And because if you don't, then you get like the bad outcome. And that seems unusual. Like I feel like there should be some other way. So that's something that I'm toying around with. Otherwise, it's definitely a game where you should play if you don't mind the dice working against you. I will say that. There's so many times when the dice, when you're like, oh, I'm rolling a D12, I need a 3 or higher, and you just don't get it. And that feels bad. So I will say that. And it definitely feels like it's like the dice can make it so much harder for you. To the point that I've had scenes where I'm like, there is no possible, like that I had like 3 turns left, and I'm like, there's no possible way for me to finish this scene. I guess I'll play it out to see what carries over to the next scene, but like it feels bad knowing that like there was nothing that I could do due to how like the light mechanics worked. So but like I said, it's a gorgeous game. I don't know if it's available in retail yet. I think the only way to have gotten it at this point was to have backed the GameFound campaign. I think it is supposed to be set for a retail release, or maybe it's a limited retail release. So if that is the case, and actually, I'm going to look this up right now just to make sure. Wildwoods retail. Yeah, this makes for great podcasting. Will release Storyfold Wildwoods into retail in September 2020. I see September 2025, but I don't know if that's correct. So yeah, so I'm not sure, unfortunately, because I don't trust some of the search results coming from Google, and I definitely don't trust the AI overview because Google's terrible. So anyway, if you can get your hands on it, it seems like a great experience. So especially if you're a fan of like Ori and the Blind Forest or like Child of Light, if anyone remembers that game from Ubisoft, feels very similar to that. So definitely check it out. Open Owl Studios is proving to be a pretty decent board game studio. And like the way this is written, it sounds like it kind of opens it up for there to be more Storyfold games, which I would be interested to see. So, so that kind of wraps things up. Yeah, all in all, it's a great experience. I am finding it hard, so I'm not too proud to admit there's been a couple times when I may have said I'm ignoring that die result. Okay, which yes, it's cheating. All right, It's a single player game. Whatever. The only person that I'm cheating out of is me. So I'm okay with that. Because then I'll go back and do a proper playthrough later. Okay? Don't at me. So that is going to wrap things up for our show. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you for sticking through. I know this was a bit of a longer episode, but we had 2 reviews to get through and then 5 news topics on top of it. So if you want to see more content from 8-Bit Adventures, go check out 8bitadventures.com. If you want to help support that content, the best way to do so is to become a patron over at patreon.com/8bitadventures. Big shout out and thank you to all my current patrons for your continued support. If our opening theme is One Up by Professor Shy Guy, you can find his work over professorshyguy.bandcamp.com. And you know what? If you have any suggestions for news topics, we have a Discord server. Send them to me on Discord. Yeah, it's just the 8-Bit Adventure server. Feel free to join. Send me news topics if you find anything interesting. I do have a Feedly aggregate feed set up where I import stuff. Or alternatively, any games to review, I might have them. Especially if it has fishing. Notably, I forgot to mention, Skigill does have fishing. Not in the way you expect. It's a weapon where you throw a bobber out and then it it catches a swordfish that goes careening through enemies. But yes, Skigill does have fishing, technically. So I thought that was funny. So anyway, that's going to wrap things up for this week. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. And as always, have fun, everyone. Happy gaming, and enjoy your pie cake.